I want to touch on some of the most common fears that I run across whenever somebody has grown in an emotionally neglectful or with emotionally immature parents that weren't able to help them develop healthy ways of going through anything that has to do with conflict, anything that has to do with speaking up, anything that has to do with expressing what they're feeling or their side of things, right? As they may have been rejected, demeaned, or just outright ignored whenever it came to saying what they were feeling or what they were thinking or what they just had to say when it came to certain situations in the household, with family, at school, whatever it may be, right? This can encompass a lot of different areas of life. So the first one is a fear of abandonment, right? This fear of being left alone, rejected, feeling as though others will not be there for you when you need them, right? As this could be very connected to that parent that just chose to avoid situations altogether and forced you have to face them yourself to come up with solutions on your own. And a lot of the times those solutions aren't going to be very good. They're going to be the best that you could come up with, and they were simply used as a form of surviving or going through those things, right? The second one is a fear of rejection, and this can begin to show up in your relationships and your friendships. It can begin to show up as just doing anything and everything to keep somebody happy or make somebody like you, right? As you were repeatedly unaccepted, dismissed, or invalidated by your own family members, right? That's how this fear arises. Another one is a fear of intimacy, as you didn't really have a deeper bond with your parent, with both sets of parents, right? Or maybe you just had a better connection with one that you went to whenever you needed that, right? Everybody needs at least one deep connection with a family member, somebody that you can trust in. And this requires you being vulnerable. And whenever you had to be vulnerable with the parent that didn't have that for you, they either threw those things back in your face or they demeaned them. They rejected anything that you were going through and tried to just remind you of how much harder they had it, right? That's something very common that I hear as well. Or they may have just used harmful words towards you whenever you did try to connect with them in any way. Another thing is this fear of conflict, because you may have lived a lot of the times in this fight or flight mode, this sensation of having to predict what a parent would do, how they would react to anything that was going on in your life, right? Everybody makes mistakes. No child is perfect, right? Everybody has to make mistakes to grow, especially at a young age. And you may have been scared of even bringing up those things at all with somebody, right? Or with a parent, and any disagreement or confrontation or anything that could be seen as negative on the parent side instantly blew up into a much bigger situation, or it just wasn't handled in the most efficient and intelligent way that could have been, right? As that's just the way that the parent grew in their own household with their own parents, so they were in a way just repeating that cycle with you. And this creates this fear of conflict in a lot of people that in a way makes them shy, makes them avoid certain situations that could lead to reminding them of that fear. And it just leads to somebody being very self-isolating, very shelled up, right? Or it can also lead to being very aggressive so that they can never give others the chance of winning in any conflict as well. I've seen that happen later on in their older ages, right? As they develop this anger, this ability to be very irritable as a defense mechanism. So hopefully some of these fears line up with what you've gone through or what you have felt for yourself, right? And there's a couple more, but I didn't want to make this video too long. So hopefully this gives you some clarity on your own situation.